This video will be entitled How to Save Money and Build Wealth. For most, building cash and saving money may look entirely different. If you subscribe to online influencers and finance bros, you will think that saving money comes in large intervals and striking it rich overnight. Stock pickers have been making money for years, shilling ways to get rich quickly by choosing the right stock and riding it to the top. And while some people may actually build wealth this way, it is actually quite rare. We always hear about the people who want to 10 times their investments and grow a little money into a lot very quickly. While this can happen, most people that attempt this method actually lose a good portion of their money gambling on a stock to rise or fall based on what options they have purchased that week. Well, the real secret to building wealth is actually way more boring. It doesn't look like stock picking or striking it rich with random investments that just so happen to pay off. No, in fact, building wealth is actually quite monotonous. You want to know what actually wealth building looks like? Let's take Ryan. Ryan works at a bank making $70,000 per year. Ryan keeps his bills low and his expenses well under control. He is paying on his house and he paid off his car 3 years ago. Ryan puts toward his retirement regularly. He contributes to get the company match and a couple percent over. He also saved money on the side. Ryan eventually wants to get into real estate, and for that, he will need a lot of funds. He starts saving money on the side into a high yield savings account. It's not much at first, $100 per month. He starts small. It begins to accumulate in his account. The interest he earns is pretty negligible at first. After a few months, he starts saving more, $200 per month. He slowly increases his savings rate. After a year, he looks at his balance, $1,700. He decides he wants to keep saving. He has built a nice emergency fund, but he wants to keep going. He begins to set back $100 per week. After a while, he notices that the interest gained is starting to increase as well. And what started as mere pennies in interest has grown to $1 or two in interest monthly. The way that Ryan is saving is not sexy whatsoever. It is slow, yet meticulous. Although the increments that he is saving are small, they add up to large amounts over time. After 3 years of saving, Ryan has almost $7,000 saved. The interest on his principal is a little over $23 per month. That actually compounds on itself. He had kept his investment small to a point that he would barely miss the money he saved. He still had plenty of other residual funds left over, but the small increments he made really added up. This is what saving money reasonably looks like. Small incremental investments made over time, for years, continuously and consistently. It is specifically about the consistency. It's not about making it rich overnight or suddenly increasing the value of your investment portfolio. With any short-term investment, there is a large degree of risk entailed when speculating on stock direction. When saving money, the return should exceed the risk, meaning that one should seek out longer time horizons to let money grow, and whether it be from stock appreciation or interest in a savings account. From this example, I used a man placing money into a high-yield savings account. He did not make any large deposits. He did not bet on a big stock. He did not try to 10 times his investment. He simply employed safe, consistent investments over time. Realistically, what someone would do is place money concurrently into different accounts, such as a high yield savings account, as well as a stock brokerage into equities. By doing so, you increase the possibility for gains and diversify your funds into different accounts so as to decrease exposure to market downturns while simultaneously keeping a safe cash reserve in a liquid account for emergency situations. Perhaps you have decided you want to save. You don't have a lot of residual income after you pay your bills, but you have a little. Much of the decision before you now involves great amounts of self-control. Money left in your checking account has always been fair game end of the month, or sometimes you don't even wait that long. Sometimes you go shopping after your bills are paid and you see you have a disposable $300 left over to spend. One extremely important rule that most people forget is that you should treat yourself like a business. When it comes to finance, you are the CEO of your own life. You are in charge of your money. And for this reason, you should pay yourself first. How do you do this? It's actually quite simply. Figure how much your bills are from your paycheck. If your check is $1,500 and your bills are $1,000, you have a residual surplus of $500. Take a percentage of this before you even pay anything and move it to your investment of choice. Maybe be like Ryan and save $100 per month to start. See how it affects your budget, then increase from there. Start small. It might not seem like much at first, but it will gradually increase over time, whether in a savings account or in stocks. There's very little that is attractive about this method. It is not sexy at all. In fact, it's quite boring. You take a small amount of money and set it back every week or every month. It slowly builds, but it is one of the best ways to save money and build wealth. It reduces the risk while increasing the upside through both compounding of either interest or exposure to the stock market. If you want to be extremely serious about this process, then automate as well. Use an app to automatically withdraw the money and place it into an account at given intervals. I like to set my automatic withdrawal for payday every 2 weeks. Money gets saved first before any of my bills are paid. Money gets locked away into an account and out of sight. I check it occasionally, but not too much. After you start stacking money away and you have automated it, just let it go. Yeah, you heard me right. If you deposit money into a high yield savings account, it is essentially zero risk, so not monitoring is necessary. If the money is invested into stocks or ETFs, you might check it every once in a while as well to monitor for market downturns, but otherwise it should remain relatively untouched. Resist the urge to sell during downtimes. Instead, invest more as the shares are essentially at a discount. Continue to invest through all economic conditions, good or bad. Over longer time horizons, the stock market will rebound from downturns and has always sought to reach higher goals. If you get bonuses at work, treat these the same way you would your regular pay. Divert a portion of it to savings. The more the better. Much of building wealth is again about consistent, continuous, and intense investing. Money under the influence of capital gains and interest growth will undergo a compounding effect over years' time. This means that not only does it grow, but the portion that is grown from interest or gains will also compound back on itself over time. This is why time is so important. The longer that money has to essentially build in, an account exposes it to greater degrees of market upturns, higher interest, and greater compounding. The time component is so important, in fact, that we can see two very different scenarios arise when saving money over different time horizons. Let's take two people who are trying to build wealth, Frank and George. Frank started investing at 20 years old. He got a job out of college and immediately started to set money back, save and invest. Although his deposits were small to start, he managed to save since he was 20 years old, and it has been building ever since. Now let's look at what George is doing. George got a job just the same as Frank in his 20s. They both made about the same. George did not feel like saving in his 20s was important and put it off until he was 30. He starts to set money back in similar methods as Frank. He saves monthly and contributes to his accounts, but unfortunately, he is behind by a whole decade. Now let's break down how this decade will affect their final account balances. Frank, who started saving when he was 20, saved his entire career, letting it build in various accounts. Let's say he managed to save money on the side and put away $200 per month since he was 20. After 40 years, this amount put away continuously over 40 years at a 7% return would yield $147,000. Now let's look at George, who started when he was 30. He set back the exact same amount monthly and at the same interest rate. When projected out, his final balance would only be $98,000. This is substantially less given that he missed an entire decade of compounding and growth. This simply seeks to illustrate how important your time horizon for investing actually is, along with the intensity and consistency that you set money back. We can look toward a concept called future value of money. This simply describes the value of an asset at a future time compared to the current value before growth. Essentially, it demonstrates how money will grow given enough time and interest or capital gains. This also brings up another related concept called opportunity cost. Think about the money in your checking account. You have so many things you can do with it. You can spend it, you can save it, you can invest it, you could withdraw it and throw it off a cliff, you can donate it to charity. All of these actions could be considered an opportunity cost of that money you have, in that whatever you choose to do with it, you essentially forego all of the other options. A dollar spent will go to exactly that. It is gone in exchange for some item or goods. You converted that dollar to a product. Now let's take that same dollar and rewind the clock. Now instead of spending it, we decide to put it into SPY, which is the S&P top 500 companies on the stock market. Given an average yearly return of 10%, a dollar placed into the stock market will double approximately every 7 years. Take that into account whenever you are debating spending money versus investing. Money spent is converted to a product and essentially gone forever. You have just contributed to a company's revenue stream and increased the company's worth. Now instead, assume you invest that same money. Over approximately 7 years, that same amount of money will double in less than a decade. Now imagine you invest thousands and thousands of dollars every year and let it grow over the next 40 years. You can see how this will pay off in a large way after decades. So while it may not appear sexy to build wealth, save, and invest, the best way to do so is continuously over time. Small amounts invested will turn into large amounts over time. This is inevitable. It doesn't really make millionaires overnight. It does not appeal to those that like to take risk. In fact, it's quite boring. But it is proven to be the best way to increase net worth. Look at how people save for retirement. They contribute a portion of their paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. That's it. Money is taken out before anything else. They don't even see it. But they do this for decades, continuously. Money gets set back at intervals and it builds over time. It's slow, it's boring, but it's proven to work, and you can automate it given the right tools, and you can start anytime. Got any extra $50 in your checking? Set it back into a savings account. Only got $25? No problem. Got to start somewhere. Any amount you can save is a good start. And don't think you were too late to the game. Maybe you're in your 40s or 50s and just starting to save. Now that's okay. It's never too late to start. As a wise man once said, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today.